Hey everyone, welcome to the Be Insightful in Technology podcast, where I'm your host, Shakiria Johnson, aka Shy, and I'm here to help you gain knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to be insightful in technology. So let's get into today's episode. Congratulations to the 2023 graduates, whether it is college, high school, wherever you graduated from. Congratulations. It's such a big milestone to transition into another step of life. I hope you guys are ready. Even if you're not, welcome in. welcome to the next step. And I got a little bit of advice for people who are looking for a job as their next step. So you're done with school now, and I like to help you figure out how to get that position, get that role that you may want. So I'm just going to give you a couple of tips to help you find a job or, take that next step in your career journey. So when it comes to looking for anything, setting intention behind it makes it so much easier to know exactly what you're aiming for. And I mean this to say you went to school for computer science. That can comprise a large group of potentially career paths. Not even necessarily in IT, but what do you want to do? So figuring out what do you want to do, where do you want to go, where do you see yourself within the next 5 years is normally a question I always ask myself. But where do you see yourself in that next period of life? Because that can help you prepare. It would help you a lot without wasting a lot of your time if you were able to set some intention to just know where to start. So when it comes down to it, I'm going to give you about 5 tips. And these are really not in no particular order. I do think that they will help you out. So the first one I'm going to give you is to revamp your resume. And once you've made a particular change, you want to go ahead and update that with your resume. So say you're graduating college. You want to make sure your resume is updated with your current credentials, and if you have job experience, make sure it's listed, like internships, anything that you did, part-time, full-time, whatever you have on there, but make sure it correlates with what you're aiming for. And I mean, you don't have to list your fast food jobs on there. You don't have to list that you were doing, you was working in the cafeteria. You do not list that. That's not something you want to do. If you worked on, let's say, a project. I know a lot of senior students have like research projects that they may be a part of. That may be something useful that you could put on your resume. But make sure you tailor your resume to the industry you're looking to get in. And I would suggest looking up a couple of resumes. It's easy to go into this next step, which is get on LinkedIn. And I'm saying get on LinkedIn. You can look at people who are already in the industry and look at their LinkedIn profiles. The resume is basically already on there, and it'll make it a whole lot easier for you to figure out how to set yours up as well. So when I say get on LinkedIn, start connecting with people, classmates, professors, and people doing things that you'd like to do. So if you didn't set it up during school, go ahead, set one up today. Set up the profile. Make sure you have a very I wouldn't say it has to be super professional, but a nice photo of you as if you were in a work environment, as if this was like a school ID photo type of thing. Like, have a good photo up of you, and also make sure when I say do that resume, it comes in handy when it's time to fill out your profile information. So your profile bios, your experience, your credentials, it makes it so much easier to go ahead and just throw that on there because you already have your reference right there. So an amazing thing about LinkedIn is they have groups for different career fields, job types, and organizations. This is a great opportunity to expand your network and help guide you into your next position. I say this because people who are in those groups are more likely to help and respond to you. There can also be job postings in the group for people who are actually looking to hire. And I love LinkedIn groups. I joined a network engineers group before I actually became one. And I asked a couple questions in there. I asked for advice on like what I should study going forward, like what's pretty much a need right now in the industry. So many people responded. Everybody was really helpful. And once I feel like I surrounded myself in that group, in that environment, it felt easier to transition into becoming a network engineer because I had support. I know which group to go to if I had any questions. And it was really great for further research and being in that environment, which I'm going to talk about next, which is number 3, which is go to networking events. I may be going a little fast, but hey, slow down this episode, replay it, but go to networking events or career fairs. We always hear it's not about what you know, but who you know. Well, if you didn't spend your school days networking, try now to get to know people in person, virtually, in your field of interest. And I mean, if you are dead set on doing this career, meet people. Go and meet people. Even if you have an inkling of interest, like just a little sprinkle of a little thought here and there, like I want to do this or not. Go to a networking event or a career fair dedicated to what you're interested in. And if there's not many in your area, it is okay to try a virtual one. Normally, like I graduated from Kennesaw State and there was this app called Handshake. That's what we used to apply to jobs. They had virtual career fairs and they tell you like who's coming on campus to do what. That may be a place to start. Like you still got your student access, go use it. And if not, LinkedIn is a free tool to use it. So opportunities await. So go to those events, go meet people, get to know people, get their information, connect with them on LinkedIn, ask them questions. There are a lot of people who are open to becoming mentors as well if you truly show interest in wanting to do something. That is another thing. Finding a mentor can truly help you. For me, I know it has changed the trajectory of my career. It feels like it has sped up my career because I was surrounded by good people and I had amazing mentors to actually guide me in the right directions. So I definitely suggest go to these events, talk to people, get to know people, connect with them. And the relationship doesn't have to end after the event is over. So make sure you actually talk with them. And I feel like I need to do a whole separate episode on how to really strengthen that connection with people you meet. And that'd be an exercise for me too. And number 4, continue to up your skills. Strengthen your skills. Depending on the level of skills that you have, you may want to continue developing them. You may go through interviews and you may see what you need to work on. Like what is in the job market? What are they really asking for? And I say this because during my initial job hunt, right after college graduation, I went right to work. And I realized like I really need to continue to up my skills because for one, technology continues to grow. It continues to change. Everything is shifting. It is one of those careers that is not necessarily mindless work. There's something you have to study all the time to keep up with things that are changing. Your mind has to constantly be involved in it. Especially if you transition up to higher levels, you kind of want to be in the know of different things. So continue to develop your skill sets as you go through this job hunting process. Take the feedback and the criticism that you get after interviews. And even if you don't get directly related information about your interview if my bad. Whew. Even if you don't get criticism, how can I say this? I want to say this in a way that don't take it too hard. If you get feedback on something that you may not be as strong in, don't take it to heart. Improve. Go ahead and improve these skill sets, and it'll show as you go further along your career journey. Because feedback is one of the most important things that is utilized, especially in the IT industry. Like, we constantly get feedback from clients, customers, people who we need to basically help us make something better. So feedback is definitely necessary. And while we're on the topic of feedback, go ahead and leave a rating for the podcast. Let me know what you think about it, any questions that you may have. Even you can reach out to me on LinkedIn at Shakiria Johnson. Click the link in the show notes. Like, follow the podcast if you're interested and you feel like this is helping you. Provide some feedback. Let's get into the last one. Don't be afraid to pivot. This is something that I even struggled with when I was very first right out of high school starting to look for jobs. I wanted to continue into the IT industry. I had internship after internship, but once I graduated high school, my initial goal was to go straight to college. But financial aid was not financial aiding. It was not. I had to go work, basically take, I think it was, a semester off and just work, and I wasn't getting any IT jobs. I was at Walmart for a period of time, and then I kept trying, and I met someone during pickup, like the grocery store pickup, talking about they worked at Cisco, and they saw a job posting for Home Depot, and I applied. I had to pivot during that period of time, but I never strayed from the goal. I always wanted to continue my journey into IT. I didn't let one thing stop me. But I would say, don't be afraid to pivot. This one is for all the people hoping to get that dream job right out of school, or you finally realize that taking too long to find a role, or you finally realize that it's taking too long to find the role. Keep in mind, I said pivot, not give up entirely on doing something you want. Sometimes that preferred role, that dream role in mind requires more experience than you actually have. And I don't mean years, I mean just skill sets. If you were to get a different role, use that time to either study, get those certifications, or anything that you need to progress yourself. Take on more responsibility in ways that you know will help you in that preferred role, and get your experience and transition into what you originally wanted. When you pivot, don't get comfortable. This isn't it, unless you want it to be. And when I say in the beginning, setting that intention, once you set that intention, once you have meaning behind that goal, once you know where you want to go, it's definitely going to be a roller coaster on the journey. I haven't heard anyone who's had a smooth journey yet. There's always something that comes up, something in the way, something that may deter you from something. But continue on your job hunt. If you are looking, try these out. Revamp your resume. Get on LinkedIn. Go to networking events and career fairs. Continue to strengthen your skills, and don't be afraid to pivot. Try this out. and see where it takes you. It's going to be a little rough sometimes, but continue through. As long as you put in the work, there will be an outcome that can work in your favor. I hope these tips were worth it. Leave a review on the podcast, like we talk about. Go ahead, provide some of that feedback. Let me know how your journey is going on the job hunt. Like, don't be afraid. I'm open to talking with the listeners of the show. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Let's talk about, what you're going through. Let's connect. Hopefully, I could point you in the right direction. And thank you for tuning in today's podcast to gain knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to be insightful in technology. I hope you guys have a great day and tune in every Thursday. All right, see you.